Hey guys, Kamina the coach here. I am going to talk about something that makes me a little uncomfortable and something that is wildly controversial today. So I'm Kamina the coach, and this channel was originally dedicated to helping people get to working overseas and living abroad. I've worked in education overseas since 2011. COVID forced me back in the United States in 2020, and I was there for 2 years, but now I'm back overseas. So I've worked and lived in 8 different countries. So prior to COVID, I was doing coaching, and then just due to the fact that I have lived and worked in so many countries as a professional educator, I started kind of trying to help people figure out how to get in there. So if you are an American person of color, Americans of Color Teaching Abroad is a Facebook group for you, or Overseas Jobs for Black Americans if you're not an educator. So now, as of August of 2022, I am back outside of the United States. Woohoo! And so I'm going to talk about, like I said, something wildly controversial, and I don't know. I guess I do talk about controversial stuff. I talk about race a lot on the videos, but so this is something recently that's more controversial, which is the COVID vaccine. So I'm not political, first of all. I don't subscribe to politics because I don't believe in either side. I am so free thinking that my belief system doesn't even fit inside of a political system. Any of the political systems don't really fully support the way that I believe and I see the world, with that state of individualism, self-responsibility, and the idea of taking care of each other and being responsible for each other. So, having said that, don't shoot the messenger. I am just giving you facts. This is not an emotional video. This is just facts. So we'll start with, I got the COVID vaccine as soon as it was available, not because I believed that they had all the answers to protecting me from COVID. That's not the case. I just know. So I saw the world differently before I left the United States. I was able to see things more clearly than the average person, I think. But I think that living outside of the United States for so long helps me to see the forest without the trees. I think that people that live inside of the United States can't see the forest for the trees because you're inside of the forest. And sometimes when you're inside of something, it's hard to see the machine for what it is, I think. So having been outside of the United States for so long, even though I returned to the system, I didn't fully return. I didn't return with the same mindset. So I got the vaccine immediately as soon as I could get the vaccine, and not because I believed that they had all the answers and it was scientifically perfect and all that stuff. I got the vaccine because I could foresee it potentially being something that could keep me stuck inside of the United States. And that is the absolute last thing I wanted after being in the United States during 2020 and 2021. Those were 2 of the hardest years of my adult life. And I by no means wanted to be stuck in the United States any longer than I had to be. So as soon as the COVID vaccine was available in the county where I was, I rushed to get it. I do have a COVID booster. Why did I get the COVID booster? Well, one of my professors had invited me to Christmas and was concerned about me being around his children and his family without a booster. So I am alone, mostly alone in the world, physically alone in the world. And if you've been following my journey, 2021 was a emotionally very, very difficult year for me. And being alone for the holidays was not a good idea for me emotionally or mentally. So I went and got the boosters as a means of self-preservation. Just a little bit of commentary. I think it's interesting how much people dog, you don't know what you're putting in your body, but will go eat a bunch of food with microplastics and all these really horrible chemicals in them. But I'm just saying, I'm not afraid. I believe that my body has the ability to heal itself if I give it all that it needs, if I am emotionally and mentally cognizant and aware, if I practice meditation and self-healing and self-havening techniques. I believe that if there was something negative in it, that my body has the ability to transmute those negative effects. So that's not trying to convince anyone. I've been attacked because I got the vaccine, and oh, you're afraid. But the thing is that I'm not afraid. What I was afraid of is the political system and getting stuck. Not afraid of my body's physical ability, because I have 100% faith in my body's ability to heal itself and protect itself if I am mentally and emotionally in the right space. So having said all of that, so yes, I am vaccinated. That's why I got vaccinated. And as it turns out, as I am right about a lot of things, you do need this COVID certificate now to enter quite a few countries. So I didn't need it to enter into Mexico, but my next contract, and I finally got my ticket, woohoo! My next contract is going to be in Iraq. To enter into Iraq, you do not need a recent COVID test. However, you do need proof of COVID vaccination. So I actually have a COVID vaccination card. Well, what I have is a vaccination card. Let me see if I can get it. And I was like, it has CDC on it. That's official, right? But I was just like, when I got the card, I was like, well, it's really handwritten, right? And isn't it easy to fake something like this? I would think so, right? I would think that it would be easy to fake a little piece of paper like this. But nobody had asked me for anything more. So as I am preparing to go to Iraq and going to anywhere in Asia, like the Middle East or somewhere like China, I would expect requirements to be quite a bit tighter. I would assume probably entering into industrialized countries as well, but I don't know. So this is the first time anyone has asked something like this of me. So they said that you need proof of COVID vaccination. So as I went online last night, I'm checking everything, making sure that I have the amount of luggage weight that I need and selecting my seat for the long flight and all this stuff. So I'm online looking around, and as I'm looking around, luckily the airline has the ability to enter where you're leaving from and where you're going to, and it will give you the COVID requirements for, and if you're a citizen, if you're a visitor, and the airline's website will provide you with COVID requirements. And so the company that I'm working for actually said it as well, but it was updated as of April 1st of 2022. So I just wanted to go on and make sure that everything that they had said was accurate. So I'm glad that I did. I'm really glad that I did, because the company that I'm working for just said, you'll need proof of a COVID vaccine. And when you go online, it says that you need proof of your COVID vaccine with a QR or an IR code. Well, I just showed you my card, and my card does not have a QR code. There's nothing on it. It's a handwritten vaccination card. I was like, I was so flustered. I'm like, this is not going to work. This is not going to suffice. It could be easily forged. We're talking about entering into a Middle Eastern country. In addition to that, it's the airline checking. We're not even talking about the government, and the airline has to cover themselves. So, yeah. So I'm like, oh my, wow. Okay. So I emailed the company that I'm working for with my COVID vaccination card, but I just did a search on the internet, and I'm like, there's information on the CDC talking about how to pull this code. So they want you to, so on the CDC's website, it gives you information on how to schedule your vaccination through them. And so you're streamlining getting this QR code, proof of vaccination. So you schedule your vaccination through them, and it's kind of all connected together. And then you can print your vaccination record with your QR code off of the site after you've had your vaccination. Well, here's the problem with that. I've already had my vaccination. So then I Googled how to get my vaccination certificate, and that's what it's called. It's a vaccination certificate. It is not your shot record. It is a vaccination certificate. So then I had to Google how to get your vaccination certificate after having already gotten the vaccination. So I'm really lucky. I got all of my vaccinations at the same place. I actually was living in 2 different states, but the same organization. So I got my vaccinations at CVS. CVS has a centralized system, so similar to your doctor's office. So they had sent me an email, and I made sure not to delete the email. I was like, I have my shot record. I thought that was enough. Your shot record is not enough. You need the vaccination certificate that has the QR code on it. So I had the email that said, click here to view your record. And viewing the record is just a digital copy of when I got all 3 of these shots and where I got them, where I got the shots at. And thank goodness it had my home of record there as well, because it wasn't my second home of record. It was my original home of record, which was not in the state I was in when I left the United States. So luckily my home of record was there. My phone number of record was there. So I went on to CVS's website and I was able to register. And when I went on to register, I was able to obtain my vaccination certificate from the CVS website. So the vaccination certificate, again, I want to emphasize, is not your shot record. Your vaccination certificate is the form that has a scannable code on it. You can forge a little card like this. You can't forge, as far as I know, that QR code. So I was really distressed initially. I had emailed the company. I was like, God, what am I going to do? And then I had to, once I found it, I had to email them back like, hey, sorry. So yeah, so it's a vaccination certificate. It is not your vaccination record. If you just have a vaccination card that's been stamped by somebody, that's not going to do it. If you need to get into somewhere that wants to scan a QR code. It's called a vaccination certificate. It is not your vaccination record. Handwritten is not going to do it. So, again, there's a little bit of opinion in there, but this is not a political post. This is just facts. If you're trying to work and teach abroad, going to certain countries, they are going to require that you have this vaccination certificate to enter their countries. Am I scared? What I would be much more scared of is to have been stuck in the United States. And that's just all there is to it. I am not one of those people that is sitting around waiting for somebody to come rescue me. I feel like it's my obligation to rescue myself. I don't have really any faith that that vaccine is making me more protected, but it is making me more mobile, and that's really important to me. So hopefully I didn't ruffle too many feathers. If I did, I'm just trying to give you the facts of working and living abroad in this era post-COVID. I had some inclinations that this was coming, so I made sure to protect myself the best way that I can so that I don't get stuck back someplace that I don't want to be. So I hope that you found this information useful. If you did, please like and share the video. If you have some questions and you're maybe interested in working with me, please feel free to reach out. As always, I am Kamina the Coach, sending you a love, light, peace, and joy. And until next time, I'm out.